Today, I'm going to show you how to create your first ASP.NET MVC application. This is Murtaza Hussain. So let's get started. Before going to start our today's lecture, I would like to request you all to do like, subscribe and share this video so that the other students can also get benefit from it. In the previous lecture, I had discussed about what MVC is. MVC stands for Model, View and Controller. Model is responsible for maintaining application, data and business logic, while View is a user interface of the application which displays the data. Controller handles users' request and renders appropriate view with model data. So, in today's session, we will discuss how to set up development environment, how to make your first ASP.NET MVC application. So, in order to set up development environment, you can use appropriate version of Visual Studio to develop ASP.NET MVC application. Here I am going to use MVC version 5.2 with Visual Studio 2017 Community Edition and .NET Framework 4.6 to create our first MVC application. If you do not have already installed the Visual Studio, you can download the Visual Studio from https://visualstudio.microsoft.com/downloads. So let's get started. I have already opened Microsoft Visual Studio. So go to the file menu, click on the new button, menu button, and after that click on the next project button from the menu as shown you on the screen. A dialog box will open and will pop up in front of you. You need to select the web from the left menu. And after that, you will have to select the ASP.NET Web Application, .NET Framework. In the below pane, or you can say the middle pane, you need to give the name to your application. Here I am going to write my first MVC. After entering the name of your application, you can change the location of your project if you want. I am going to change the location if I'm going to change the location by clicking on the browse button. I have seen that my default location in the F drive is already selected. So I will just say select folder and will click on the button OK. From the new ASP.NET Web Application dialog, select MVC if it is not already selected, as you are seeing on the screen. From this panel, you need to select MVC. It is by default selected. You can also change the authentication by clicking on Change Authentication button. A new dialog box will pop up and will appear in front of you. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4 options. The default is no authentication, where your application will not require any user authentication. If you select individual user account, you need to use this option for applications that store user profiles in a SQL Server database. User can register or sign in using their existing account for Facebook, Twitter, Google, Microsoft, or any other provider. Work or school account option is where you can use it with your Active Directory, Microsoft Azure Active Directory, or Office 365. Here is also another option, window authentication for intranet users. I am going to choose the default one, that is no authentication, and I press the button OK, and finally press the button OK. It will create our first first MVC application. You will have to wait for some time till Visual Studio creates a simple MVC project using default template. So wait for a while. It is loading and creating your first environment for development. So here you go. The Microsoft has created the first application. You can see some default folders have been created by the Microsoft Visual Studio. There, the controller folder, which will hold all the controllers of your application. The models folder, and your models will go here. And views folder, all the views will reside here. You can modify them, you can add them accordingly into the appropriate folders of according to your controllers. According to your controllers. So our default layout has also been created by this scaffolded application. A complete package, first Bootstrap application has been created by the Visual Studio. To get started, you can hit or press the F5 button, or you can click here from your Visual Studio framework. I have just clicked here. It will launch your first application in the debugging mode. If you just press F5, that will just run your application. So wait till the Visual Studio opens this newly created application to browser. So it is just getting started and opening our first application made by using the scaffolded options of the MVC 5. Microsoft Visual Studio provides it. It is loading. MVC 5 project basically includes JavaScript and CSS files of Bootstrap 3.0 by default. So you can see our default application, default homepage has landed in front of us. It has a default CSS applied and with some basic content, and also it has 3 links on top of the menu bar: home, about, and contact. Contact displays some contact information, about displays some about us information, and home is your first main landing page. As I have told, Microsoft MVC 5 project includes by default JavaScript and CSS files and this the result of this is a responsive UI. This responsive UI will change its look and feel based on the screen size of the different devices. For example, top menu bar will be changed in the mobile device. Let me shrink. Let me shrink, or let me show you how it works. I have pressed F12, and let me change the view of it. As you have seen, the top menu bar has been changed into the three horizontal rows, and when you will click on them, drop down menu will pop up in front of you, which will contain all the links which were in the actual website, and you can also see the look and feel of the website according to the size you have chosen, or according to the device on which you are viewing this application. So it is totally responsive because it is using the Bootstrap 3.0 application. So in this way, you can create your first MVC 5 application using Visual Studio 2017 for web. In the next section, we will learn about ASP.NET MVC folder structure, and we will see how to make our first controller. Till that time, I would just like to say goodbye. And before closing my today's session, I will just summarize what we have learned today. In this session, I have just discussed about how to create and set up the ASP.NET MVC5 application by using the default options provided by the Visual Studio, and also by selecting that option, we have created our first bootstrapped application and ran that application to our browser, and we have seen that that application was responsive because that was using the Bootstrap version 3.0 and the CSS and the JavaScript. So this was the end of our lecture. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for listening to me today. Have a nice day. Goodbye.